this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder the Capital One bank guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also talk about how most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC.
Hi, Kyle. Could you draw up a quick document with the basic business plan, just one page, as a Google Doc, and send me the link? Thanks.
Hey, just finished drawing up that quick one-page business plan for you. Here's the link.
But there was no link. There was no business plan. I hadn't programmed Kyle to be able to do that yet. I'm Evan Ratliff, here with a story of entrepreneurship in the AI age. Listen as I attempt to build a real startup run by fake people. Check out the second season of my podcast, Shell Game, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh Clark, and there's Charles W. Chuck Bryant. And Chuck thinks we should include a warning on this one. I think we probably should.
This is going to be pretty gruesome at times. Warning, kids, maybe ask your parents if you should play this. Parents, maybe don't play this for your kids. Done.
That's pretty good warning. Talk about COA.
And this is history, it's pretty gruesome history, though.
Yeah.
So
the Middle Ages, or the medieval period in Europe.
Man.
Yeah, they were a very gruesome time.
Yeah.
Starting about the 5th century after the fall of the Roman Empire, and lasting until the Renaissance, the 15th century.
That's many English years.
1,000 years of nasty, brutish, and short life.
Yeah.
So the average life expectancy during the medieval period, and historians don't like to call it the Middle Ages, because that implies that it's just basically this little bit of time in between two really important ages.
Yeah.
The middle period.
Yeah.
It's like the Jan Brady of history. And they're saying, like, no, there's some really great things came about during this time, and you can't just call it that. So they call it the medieval period. I still think it's the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages is another great way to put it.
Yeah. Brutish behavior.
There was
what was the life expectancy? You didn't say.
About 40, somewhere in the 40s. I didn't see specifically, but yeah.
So that's old?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the very least, that's, average age. You could live longer than that.
Sure.
But, I mean, like, if you're a woman, the chances of you dying in childbirth were pretty high.
Yeah, yeah.
If you were a man, the chances of you being killed by getting kicked by your horse were probably pretty high.
Yeah.
If you were a child, making it, I think you had a 33% chance to not make it past 5.
Wow.
It was not good.
Yeah.
It was a violent time. Mm-hmm. Nutrition was not very good. It was a dirty time.
Yeah.
And it was just a bad time to be alive.
I think we can agree on that. If you're time traveling, skip the Middle Ages.
One of the I guess hallmarks of the Middle Ages was that after the fall of the Roman Empire, Rome owned Europe, owned it outright. And under this control also came things like roads, currency, government,
plumbing, right?
Justice. Yeah, to the farthest reaches of the Roman Empire, it was under control generally, and these areas had public service, right?
Yeah.
Public services. After the Roman Empire fell, there was a power vacuum. And for 300 years, the Franks and the Saxons and the Anglo-Saxons all were fighting. And then finally, in about 800, Charlemagne was crowned the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And the church took over, basically.
Which, good news, right?
You would think. The church, however, had a hatred of women and a fondness of torture.
Yeah.
And the Middle Ages was also characterized by a period of really inventive thinking in how to produce human suffering.
Yeah, I think this is a great quote from L.A. Perry's 1975 book, A History of Torture in England. The first part of this really hits home. Oh, it didn't hit home, but it brings up bad memories. What strikes us most in considering the medieval tortures is not so much their diabolical barbarity as the extraordinary variety and what may be termed the artistic skill they displayed. So they definitely delighted, and especially reading these torture devices, and being very inventive and probably trying to outdo one another.
Yeah.
And how awful it was, and the different mechanisms, because mechanics was new. So they were probably like, look, this has 5 gears that will, rip your toes off.
Right.
How cool.
Yeah.
But, so it was a very perversely inventive period.
Yeah, Perry says that they basically ruminated and considered how suffering occurs to figure out how to produce it.
Yeah.
That it was like basically an art form by the end.
Yeah, they would, in court, sometimes they would just do things like, hey, let me put your arm in boiling water, and we're going to base our verdict on how long it takes it to heal. I know the old thing about, does the witch float? Throw it in the lake and let's see.
Yeah.
And if she drowns, hey, she was not a witch. That's sad.
But if she lives...
Then burn her at the stake.
Exactly.
Yeah, so either way, the lady dies, which is very sad.
Right.
And they even had a thing when they would torture people for confessions, but they would say basically that confession doesn't count. So they would say, you know what, within that 24-hour period, we won't torture you, see if you still confess. And if you don't, then we'll just torture you again.
Right, that was to corroborate your own confession that was extracted under torture. So even back then, they realized, like, yeah, you can't really rely on a confession under torture because people will say anything to get you to stop doing the things that we're about to describe they were doing to them.
Right, or they would torture you very publicly. That's a very common thing with most of these to dissuade criminal activity.
Yeah, humiliation, shaming, scarlet letters.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of thing.
Permanent scarlet letters.
Right.
Even.
So we were talking about the torture devices, some of the more famous, more diabolical ones that came out of the Middle Ages.
Yeah, and this is a surprise for you. I told you I had a little game we were going to play.
Okay.
We're going to, as we go, we will also find out, because I've done this research, which of these torture devices are also the names of heavy metal bands.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Because the very first one I saw, the Brazen Bull, I was like, surely that's a band.
Yeah, when I was researching this, I was thinking, like, I wonder how many times Chuck's going to be like, that's a great band name.
Well, the Brazen Bull is, in fact, a band in Chicago.
Yeah.
3-piece grindcore metal band.
Nice. Give me another example of grindcore so I know.
I don't even know. I think it's just the stuff that's so, like, fast and heavy and, like...
Gotcha. I like that.
Yeah.
So I tweeted out this picture of, like, the different characters from Lord of the Rings.
Uh-huh.
And then based on, like, their looks, what kind of metal they were into.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, Gollum was into nu metal.
Uh-huh. In metal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I can't remember, I think, Viggo Mortensen was into, like, I can't remember. It's worth checking out. Go onto our Twitter feed. Look like 4 weeks back.
Yeah,
You'll find it. You'll love it.
I'm sure I didn't describe grindcore correctly.
That's cool.
I'm not hip on the metal scene.
Chuck.
The Brazen Bull.
The Brazen Bull.
Yeah.
Is old indeed. They think that an ancient Greek named Perillus invented it.
Yeah, for a tyrant named Phalaris of Agrigentum. And so basically like, hey, let me build you this torture device. You're going to love it. And the guy was like, I love it. Get in it.
Yeah, let's
and the
see
guy
how
was
it
like,
works.
What? And apparently that's how it went down.
Right.
So what is the Brazen Bull?
Well, it's a brass bull,
Uh-huh.
which is why it's brazen and a bull.
Yeah.
It's a large one, big enough for a human to fit in.
Ah.
And there is a locking mechanism on the outside once the human is in, because they built fires around the Brazen Bull, lit them, and then waited for the Brazen Bull to heat up with the person inside, who would then scream and move around.
Yeah.
And the muted sounds, because it was brass.
Yeah, and because their tongue was often cut off.
Right.
Yeah.
Made it look and sound like the bull was alive and making noise.
Yeah, and we found through all of these, Grabster wrote this, of course, Ed Grabanowski.
Right.
It was usually followed with, to the delight and entertainment of the crowd.
Right.
So apparently, if the bull started rocking and making noises, people were just like, ooh, I love it.
Right.
It's great. Someone's getting seared alive inside that hollow bowl.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You're not being like charred. You're being seared
Yeah.
to death. ultimately, I imagine you would pass out and die from the heat.
Yeah, probably.
Hopefully, but I mean, being seared to death, that's pretty bad. Or even being seared in the meantime before you pass out from the heat.
Yeah, I think with most of these, your best hope is to pass out as soon as possible from pain.
Yeah.
You know?
So, thumb screws is one that they're interesting in that they aren't designed to kill you.
Right.
Like a lot of these tortures are designed like to either kill you or you could die from them. And if you do, well, whatever. With thumb screws, it's like, nope, this is just for inflicting pain on you.
Yeah, band or not a band?
A band.
Band.
Awesome.
Thumb Screw out of Austin, Texas.
Awesome.
Metal band.
Nice.
So yeah, like you said, you're not going to die. It's basically these upright metal bars, 3 upright metal bars that you put your thumbs in, and then a wooden bar slides down and presses your thumbs down, and then it has screws, and they just crank it down.
Yeah.
Like squeezing your thumbs until they're crushed and broken, I would imagine.
Yeah, if you want to start to get even the slightest bit of idea of it, just press down on your thumb a little bit, about within the top third of your thumb,
That hurt.
above the quick.
Jerry's not doing it. She's just watching us.
And it just it starts as like a little throbbing pain.
Yeah.
Now, imagine like somebody screwing a vise down on top of that while you're screaming. That's what a thumb screw is meant for.
Wow. Apparently there was a 10-finger version called a Pillywink. And that's a cute name.
Is that a metal band name?
No, I looked that up though. And it supposedly originated in the Russian army as punishment for bad soldiers. And then a Scotsman said, "This is great. Let's bring it back home to the UK."
Yeah, a guy named, quote, Bloody Tam Delisle, who was a 17th century minister of parliament, who liked to use them himself.
Not on himself.
No,
Yeah.
but he liked to use them on people.
Okay, number 8, the rack. Band, not a band.
Band.
No, I couldn't find it.
It's gotta be.
I think it's just a little too vague. Okay. That was my explanation. But it is a workout device. Someone's actually named their little workout machine the rack.
No way.
Yeah, it looks like a walker. You know, like if you can't walk so great, but you can do like dips and push-ups and sit-ups and stuff with it.
Yeah. So, do you think they were like making a joke?
I have no idea.
I hope so.
So the rack is pretty self-explanatory, and you've all seen this before. Has many different forms, but generally, it is a person tied to a table with each limb, tied to a corner, and then it is cranked, and you are pulled apart, or at least dislocated.
Right. Like the wheel is cranked, or like an axle is cranked, or something that winds, that coils the rope that your limbs are tied to up. And yeah, it's either dislocated, or if you really want to get down, you can just keep going and pull the limbs right off of the body.
Yeah, I imagine there was about a 4-second period where it was great. Yeah. Where your back just cracked just right, and they're like, "Oh, that's fantastic." Yeah. And then it was like, "No. Can we stop there?"
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't like this anymore.
And they called it would be called broken on the rack, or racked, or stretched on the rack.
Right.
And there was one type that apparently looked like a horse, even.
Yeah, I get the impression that it was a little bit like a sawhorse looking, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just a beam with legs. And Torquemada, who was the head of the Spanish Inquisition, he preferred one called the Portoro.
Right, but again, the inventiveness, like they would make one look like a horse, or,
Right.
They would apply a little artistry to it, which is even more perverse, I think.
And there's another one that's kind of related to the rack. It's called the wheel.
No band.
Virtually the same principle. No band?
No,
that's
too generic again.
It's basically the same principle as the rack. Your limbs are tied to the wheel, or they're broken ahead of time in 2 places with an iron bar, and then threaded through the spokes in the wheel.
Yeah.
And then once you're secured to this wheel, they can do all sorts of stuff. They can swing it like a pendulum and put spikes that you're grazed over.
Right.
They
or
can,
a fire.
A fire below you, and just swing you slowly over that. Or they can use the wheel as it was meant to be used and tie you to it and send you down a rocky hillside.
Yeah, tie you on the outside of it.
Yeah. It's not to make you dizzy.
Yeah, I just had to catch myself. I almost said that was my favorite.
The wheel's your favorite?
Well, tying them on the outside and rolling them down the hill. When I read that, I was like, very inventive.
Yeah.
Hats off to you.
What else are you going to do with the wheel? Using it as a pendulum? That's stupid.
Yeah, the one where they would break your arms was akin to crucifixion because, like you said, basically they would thread you through it and then put it high on a stake and just let you bake out in the sun until you died.
Yeah.
With 4 broken limbs.
Yep.
All right.
The rack and the wheel.
The stake, burning at the stake, not a band name.
No, and it was usually a form of execution, but it was so painful that it's also considered a form of torture.
How long would it take, Josh?
So it's just a pole that
Yeah.
somebody's tied to with some dry kindling around it.
Yeah.
You light the kindling.
Lots of kindling.
And depending on the conditions, it could take 30 minutes for you to finally go unconscious from the pain of the fire. 30 minutes of being burned before you finally fainted. Now, if it was windy out and the fire is blowing away from you a little bit, you could be enduring that for up to 2 hours.
Unbelievable.
Of being burned to death. 30
yeah.
minutes, 2 hours of being burned to death at the stake.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, they got a little more creative with it. They would, a lot of times they would remove the tongue or do something to the tongue, I think, to just muffle the screams.
Yeah.
And make it a little more palatable. And in the Netherlands, they would apparently sandwich your tongue between 2 hot iron plates. And, of course, you couldn't do a lot with that, except, make weird muffled screaming noises.
Right. I don't know if it was to make it more palatable or people during the Dark Ages thought it was hilarious when
Right.
people couldn't talk.
Yeah, maybe so.
You're
right.
Like, that was like the Jerry Lewis of periods. The Jan Brady and the Jerry Lewis of periods.
Wow. That's a pretty exciting time.
Hi, Kyle. Could you draw up a quick document with the basic business plan, just 1 page, as a Google Doc, and send me the link? Thanks.
Hey, just finished drawing up that quick 1-page business plan for you. Here's the link.
But there was no link. There was no business plan. It's not his fault. I hadn't programmed Kyle to be able to do that yet. My name is Evan Ratliff. I decided to create Kyle, my AI co-founder, after hearing a lot of stuff like this from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
There's this betting pool for the first year that there's a one-person billion-dollar company, which would have been like unimaginable without AI, and now will happen.
I got to thinking, could I be that one person? I'd made AI agents before for my award-winning podcast, Shell Game. This season on Shell Game, I'm trying to build a real company with a real product run by fake people.
Oh, hey, Evan. Good to have you join us. I found some really interesting data on adoption rates for AI agents in small to medium businesses.
Listen to Shell Game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Danny Shapiro, host of the hit podcast Family Secrets.
We were in the car, like a Rolling Stone came on, and he said, "There's a line in there about your mother." And I said, "What?"
What I would do if I didn't feel like I was being accepted is choose an identity that other people can't have.
I knew something had happened to me in the middle of the night, but I couldn't hold on to what had happened.
These are just a few of the moving and important stories I'll be holding space for on my upcoming 13th season of Family Secrets. Whether you've been on this journey with me from season 1 or just joining the Family Secrets family, we're so happy to have you with us. I'll dive deep into the incredible power of secrets, the ones that shape our identities, test our relationships, and ultimately reveal who we truly are. Listen to Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are we on to the pillory?
Oh, well, we should say probably that there was a modicum of mercy.
Oh, sure.
With the stake, where the church would strangle you if you confessed to being a heretic. They would strangle you to death first before burning you at the stake.
And then it was just a symbolic burning.
Yeah.
Right.
You were being consumed by fire.
That's a very nice thing to do.
Sure.
So, Pillory, band or not a band?
I would say band.
They are a band out of Boston.
Uh-huh.
And they're a hardcore band. And I actually listened to one of their songs. You want to know what the name of it is?
What?
Hangnail and a...
Jeez. That's a metal band song title.
It sure is.
Wow.
So the pillory you've all seen, it's basically the 2 parallel wooden boards that are clasped together around your neck and arms, and you're bent over,
right,
hanging through them.
Your hands and your head stick through these things.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the stocks. Stocks are just
just
like
feet?
Yeah, it's just like to restrain your ankles.
Yeah.
But the point is you're immobile
Yeah.
And you're put on a platform in a very public area to be shamed and humiliated and have rotten fruit thrown at you.
And more than that, feces, and I imagine the worst case scenario for this would be a group of like 12-year-old boys in the Middle Ages when you're in the pillory.
Yeah, 12-year-old boys have like families and kids by that time.
Yeah, that's true. But I bet they were the meanest of all.
Yeah.
Like some people would die in the pillory because they would be, beaten to death. Some people would be lauded though if they were like thumbing their nose at the government and saying, "I didn't pay my taxes." Some people would bring them flowers and like food and stuff.
Yeah, basically the pillory was meant to just be left up to the crowd what was to be done with you. At the very least, you were shamed publicly just for being up there for an hour or two.
Yeah.
But if the crowd decided that, you needed more justice, like there was 4 Englishmen who had wrongfully accused some people and sent them to the gallows
right.
in order to get the reward money. Those guys were beaten to death when they were put into the pillory.
That's no good.
That's what they call English justice.
Yeah, and can you imagine not being able to move and just have someone like beating you about the head?
That brings up
to not be able to bring your hands up and at least guard your face?
That still goes on today.
What?
As public execution, there are some countries out there that use stoning.
Oh, right.
Iran's a very prominent one.
Yeah.
Where you are sentenced to death by stoning.
They still do that?
Yeah, they bury you up to your neck, and your head's just exposed, so you can't move, and people throw rocks at you until you die. Usually they cover you with the sheet so they can't see you, but they judge that you're done when you stop moaning and you're bleeding through the sheet. Wow. But there's a really interesting article that I think you should read. I wrote this blog post, Chuck. It's called 5 Most Entertaining Academic Papers of All Time.
Uh-huh.
And one of them, and entertaining, I use this in a strange way, but one of them is called The Possible Pain Experience During Execution by Different Methods. It was by Harold Hillman.
Uh-huh.
It was written in the, I think the early 90s.
Yeah.
And one of the ones he covers is stoning, but he goes through and takes like all of this, like, he's like, there's no body of work on how much pain stoning causes.
Right.
So he compares it to pain reported from like a car crash or something like that.
Right.
And then makes assumptions that are, pretty good educated guesses of what pain a person experiences and basically rates methods of execution from hanging to stoning to the gas chamber.
Wow.
In so far as how much pain and suffering they produce.
Entertaining? I think fascinating might be the word.
Yes, okay. The other ones are much more entertaining.
Right.
That one had to be in there. It's just originally I call them the 5 greatest academic papers of all time, but SEO.
Yeah. Okay, so we're done with the pillory and the stocks, correct?
Yeah. Were the stocks a band name?
No. Next we have the Iron Maiden, band or not a band?
They have their own beer.
Iron Maiden beer?
Trooper Ale.
Really?
Yeah. It's got Eddie on the cover and everything.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty neat.
I'd try that.
Or on the label, I should say.
Can you get it like here in the States?
No, you can only get it in the EU. I tried.
It's probably 16 ounces too.
It looks good. Like it's well made.
Yeah.
It's not just like, put our name on this crap. Like it's clearly like a kind of craft beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bruce Dickinson's like a full-on pilot, like 747 pilot.
I didn't know it.
Like he flies their big jumbo jet that the band travels on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Iron Maiden, at one point they didn't even believe this was real.
Yeah.
Because it sounded so diabolical.
Yeah.
But then they found one in, Nuremberg, Germany.
Uh-huh.
And, sometimes it's called the, Iron Maiden of Nuremberg for that reason. But it's a sarcophagus. You've seen it before, like King Tut was buried in, but it's got little double doors and very strategically placed spikes on the inside.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, when you shut these double doors, including one over the face.
Oh, you shut the door.
Right.
Gotcha.
Including one over the face that has 2 spikes that are designed to take your eyes out.
Yeah.
These spikes go into your vital organs. They're arranged in such a way so that your heart gets it, your kidneys, your liver, all
But just
this
a bit,
stuff.
though, right?
Yeah. The spikes aren't so long that they just go right through you and kill you.
Right.
They're short enough that they're going to puncture these organs and you're going to die.
Yeah.
But it's going to take many hours. And the lord of the castle in Nuremberg gets to sit there and listen to you moan and die.
Wow. And they had one apparently that was even shaped like the Virgin Mary in her arms, so when you got in, she would hug you.
Yeah, when you turned to crank, the arms would draw you closer into the spikes.
Again, very fiendish. Scavenger's Daughter, band or not a band?
I know that is a band. I ran across it during my research, too.
4 bands, from what I saw.
Is that right?
There's one in the UK, one in St. Louis, one in Shanghai, and one in Poland.
Cool.
So they're really spread out.
Maybe it's all the affiliates of the same band. They're all subsidiaries of Scavenger's Daughter Co.
Well, LLC.
Yeah.
The original name for the Scavenger's Daughter, Skeffington's Jeeves, or Geeves.
I don't know how you would pronounce that. Gyves?
That's a band, too.
Is it?
From Tallahassee.
I can believe that.
So it was named after the inventor, Skeffington. And
Todd Skeffington.
The best way I'm going to describe this is it looks sort of like an arch. Imagine the St. Louis arch shrunk down to about 2 feet and attached to a base plate. And you would get down in like the tornado crouch position and get inside of this thing. And then they would crank it down on the back of your neck and back.
At the top of the arch, the top of the center of the arch, there's like a screw that they can crank to crank the whole arch down on top of you, right?
Yeah, so you're in like a crouch position, and they just further crouch you until your spine cracks and your breastbone breaks.
And like, it's the opposite of the rack. Where the rack tears you apart, the Skeffington's gyves is meant to compress you. And like you will bleed out of your fingertips and your eyes and your ears.
Yeah.
Because your body's being compressed into this tiny ball.
It's like a car crusher.
And exactly. And there's actually one on display at the Tower of London.
Yeah, I saw on the internet. It was pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not delighting in this, but
it's just insane. Like I was looking at it on the internet today too. And I was thinking like human beings used to be placed in that a few hundred years ago. Like the suffering that this machine, this contraption produced at the hands of other people. Like if you just sit there and like force perspective on yourself, it's really unnerving.
Yeah, well, some people might say that putting someone in a chair and sending electricity through their body until they die is the same thing.
Oh yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Have you ever seen the Errol Morris documentary on the inventor of the electric chair?
No, what's it called? Mr. Sparky?
No. I think it's called Dr. Death.
Okay.
And then what his name is, Lucher maybe or something.
I don't know.
Really fascinating though, because just rent it, and it's Errol Morris. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
These last two are really pretty brutal, and brutal against women.
Yeah.
And it's pretty gross. So if you're not into hearing about that, maybe you should turn off the podcast.
Yeah, this to me is this is the worst. The other ones were gender neutral.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess the last one we're going to talk about is technically gender neutral, but the idea of it being inflicted on women to kind of, as Grabanowski points out, to destroy aspects of femininity.
Yeah.
It makes everything even more disturbing, you know?
Yeah, agreed. And this is called the Breast Ripper, not a band. And not to make light of this, but there was a Yahoo answer where a guy said, quote, "I need a brutal band name. Something like diseases or disorders or something to do with babies being eaten. It needs to be killer." And one of the people said, "You should call yourself the Breast Ripper."
Did he say awesome?
No, I didn't follow up and look to see if that's what he chose. But the guy had listed it like a bunch of names, that were mainly torture devices.
I mean, if you're a metal band searching torture devices or medieval torture devices, it's going to yield an idea or two.
Exactly. So, extending back to the Roman times and probably before, females have had a rough time of things when it comes to torture. Being marched through the streets naked, public humiliation, forced rape, sexual mutilation, all just terrible, terrible things specifically geared toward women.
Right.
And the Breast Ripper was probably the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So basically,
neither one of us wants to describe it.
Yeah. I thought it was very bad too. Back to you.
Go ahead. After you.
A woman would be tied to a wall or basically forced to be immobile.
Yeah.
And then this, the Breast Ripper, which was basically a claw of spikes.
Yeah.
It could be open and then placed on the breast and then shut, clamped down onto the breast, but then be pulled away.
Yeah.
Basically just mangling the breast.
Yeah.
And like the thumb screws, it was not intended to kill.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I get the impression from this article that it was used very frequently to basically say, hey, everybody, look at this person. Like,
right, like the Scarlet Letter.
Right, exactly. It was meant to label somebody.
Yeah, in England, I know they were fond of branding women on the face to shame them.
Yeah, and apparently, if you were in the stockade or the pillory, one of the things that may also accompany that was to be branded by having your nose slit.
Right, or an ear cut off, maybe.
Yeah.
Jeez, what was wrong with people back then?
I don't know.
And what changed, I wonder?
That's like that the most peaceful period in history.
What, right after the Middle Ages?
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like, remember Steven Pinker?
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
The Middle Ages were particularly bad. I don't know what it was that changed, but I think the idea that government came in and created a monopoly on violence.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That doesn't really account for it because the government had not necessarily a monopoly, it was supposed to, but it was pretty violent itself.
Yeah, and it's not like things got great. Like you said, they're still stoning people, and they use the electric chair in this very country.
Right.
So, but it definitely wasn't the Middle Ages.
No, and also when I mean, you could be tortured for all sorts of things. Like your neighbor could be like, "You're a witch," and all of a sudden you're tortured.
Right.
So I would be very curious to know exactly what accounts for that change because something changed.
Yeah, and they also point out in the article Ed did that a lot of times these were used to also get you to sing about your accomplices.
Yeah.
And that was basically like you just say whatever you want.
Sure.
Like, yeah, it was my neighbor there. And the neighbor's like, huh? And then all of a sudden he's in the pillory too.
All right.
All right. Our final one is The Pair of Anguish.
Oh, man.
Band or not a band?
It's got to be a band.
It's a band. Four-piece metal band.
Wow.
From Roanoke, Virginia.
Man. Not Roanoke, North Carolina.
No. So The Pair of Anguish was, I guess I'll do this one since you had to do the breast ripper. It is a pear-shaped device, and the pair is actually 4 metal leaves joined at the top by a hinge with like a key crank. So just imagine a pair that if you crank like where the stem would be, the 4 leaves would open up. And they would use this on women in like the worst places and on homosexual men in the worst places.
An orifice, basically.
Yeah. And open it up. And I showed Emily this morning. She was like, so that looks like an early speculum to me. And that's, kind of this along those same lines. And that's The Pair of Anguish.
Yeah.
And you can get pictures of all these and look at them. Not in use, obviously, but actually some of them are like, they have drawings of like the rack and things like that.
Yeah.
But luckily not of The Pair of Anguish.
There's a spoon from, I think, the Nuremberg Castle that has a mini Iron Maiden on the top of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, proudly displayed.
Wow.
Yeah, you can, there's photos of these, and some of them are relics in museums around the world, like the Skevington's Jeeves in the Tower of London.
There's probably a torture museum, I bet, somewhere.
There's the London Dungeon.
Oh, really?
That one's awesome. I went with my dad and my sister years and years ago.
How old were you?
I was like 17, maybe.
Oh, that's a good age. I was like 13 would be perfect, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, anywhere from there. But it's like they really did it up because they use like wax dummies, and it's like there's like a head in the basket on the guillotine exhibit. And
right.
Plus, there's a great Misfits song named that, too.
Name what?
London Dungeon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
And one more thing I wanted to say. In 2003, after the U.S. invaded Iraq, they found, Uday Hussein, Saddam's oldest son.
Yeah.
He was the minister of sports, and he was very famous for, like, torturing athletes that he didn't think were performing well enough.
What a guy.
They found an Iron Maiden at the Ministry of Sports, his Iron Maiden that he used on people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That certainly doesn't encourage athleticism,
No, it encourages defection and running away.
Yeah.
Whenever you go somewhere to play somebody in another country.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
So that's it for 10 medieval torture devices.
Yeah, very bizarre time in this world's history, for sure.
Yep. If you want to see pictures of these things or read more about them, you can type that in, medieval, MEDIEVAL, torture devices in the search bar at How Stuff Works. And I said search bar, so it's time for message break.
Stuff you should know.
Hi, Kyle. Could you draw up a quick document with the basic business plan, just one page, as a Google Doc, and send me the link? Thanks.
Hey, just finished drawing up that quick one-page business plan for you. Here's the link.
But there was no link. There was no business plan. It's not his fault. I hadn't programmed Kyle to be able to do that yet. My name is Evan Ratliff. I decided to create Kyle, my AI co-founder, after hearing a lot of stuff like this from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
There's this betting pool for the first year that there's a one-person billion-dollar company, which would have been like unimaginable without AI, and now will happen.
I got to thinking, could I be that one person? I'd made AI agents before for my award-winning podcast, Shell Game. This season on Shell Game, I'm trying to build a real company with a real product run by fake people.
Oh, hey, Evan. Good to have you join us. I found some really interesting data on adoption rates for AI agents in small to medium businesses.
Listen to Shell Game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dani Shapiro, host of the hit podcast Family Secrets.
We were in the car, like a Rolling Stone came on, and he said, there's a line in there about your mother. And I said, what?
What I would do if I didn't feel like I was being accepted is choose an identity that other people can't have.
I knew something had happened to me in the middle of the night, but I couldn't hold on to what had happened.
These are just a few of the moving and important stories I'll be holding space for on my upcoming 13th season of Family Secrets. Whether you've been on this journey with me from season 1 or just joining the Family Secrets family, we're so happy to have you with us. I'll dive deep into the incredible power of secrets, the ones that shape our identities, test our relationships, and ultimately reveal who we truly are. Listen to Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now listener mail?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So this is from Matthew N. Cook. Listened to the Living Off the Grid podcast, and it reminded him of his friend Michael's aunt. He and his friend are very technically oriented. They've been wiring little doodads and things for years. His aunt bought a house some years back, which turned out to be a long-term witness protection house for local authorities. She called us in because there were about 1,000 little switches and project boxes all over the house, tucked into nooks and crannies that automated everything from the window blinds to the lights, to the door and window locks. It's very reminiscent of something we'd seen in an old James Bond movie. So this is not like a new thing.
Right.
Which is why it was weird. She had no idea how to operate any of them or even what half of them did, so we got to come and play in the house basically for a while and figured out what we could. We found the house had many defense measures, including motion sensor alarms in the surrounding woods and driveway, and backup power and water supplies, which included rainwater collection, solar panels, a huge backup generator, and a wind turbine on a telephone pole type thing that could be raised or lowered and adjusted using a hand winch.
Wow.
What made the house really cool is while many of the home automation and power water conservation measures implemented are now things that can be purchased and installed professionally, this was all done well before this, as evidenced by all the project boxes and very retro toggle switches and such. For us, it was like seeing history, as some clever guy or girl actually had to think up these pieces and then design and build them from scratch. I feel like I'm really not doing this house justice and the engineers justice, but that could be the overexcited geek in me recalling this find. Matthew N. Cook. Sounds pretty cool.
That is very cool. Thanks, Matthew.
Apparently the aunt wasn't too into it.
Yeah, she's like, I got a good deal on this house.
Yeah, like once they figured out how to do like the lights and stuff, she's like, all right, get out.
Right. I would be very curious to see photos of this house if he has them. Send them along, man.
Yeah.
We love cool photos of very cool places, whether they're abandoned or unusual or whatever. So if you have like a photo spread of a cool house or a cool old asylum or whatever, send us a link because we want to see it. You can tweet to us at SYSK Podcast. You can join us on Facebook.com/Stuff You Should Know. You can send us an email to StuffPodcast@Discovery.com. And you can join us at our home on the web, StuffYouShouldKnow.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, Netflix streams TV shows and movies directly to your TV, computer, wireless device, or game console. You can get a 30-day free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/stuff and sign up now.
Hi, Kyle. Could you draw up a quick document with the basic business plan, just one page, as a Google Doc, and send me the link? Thanks.
Hey, just finished drawing up that quick one-page business plan for you. Here's the link.
But there was no link. There was no business plan. I hadn't programmed Kyle to be able to do that yet. I'm Evan Ratliff, here with a story of entrepreneurship in the AI age. Listen as I attempt to build a real startup run by fake people. Check out the second season of my podcast, Shell Game, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com, with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.